Yes, class. Is it audible now? See, dot product we had completed in the last class, where both the vectors magnitude we had taken, and in between them we had taken cos theta, right? So cosine was the product that was, cosine was actually the trigonometric portion, the angle which was made. Now, when we are talking about the cross product or the vector product, you have the cross product as again one of the vectors, then again you have b vector, and then you take the angle between them. All right. Now, the difference that comes in cross product is that you will be calculating and considering sine component. So again, when we have A cross B, fine, when we have A cross B, we take the magnitude of the vector A, we take the magnitude of the vector B, and multiply it with sine theta. Fine. So this here cross, this is not your simple multiplication of algebra which we have been doing. This is the cross product. All right, this is the cross product. You are not able to switch on your videos.
Yes, ma'am.
Let me just ask, just wait.
Ma'am. Ma'am.
Yes, now Jobita, I think you are able to open the cameras.
Yes,
Other students, Jobita has been following this instruction religiously by herself. The rest of the students, you have to be reminded first. Secondly, even after getting reminded, you are not opening the cameras. Today, I'll send the list of the students finally. Though I have mentioned some students' name already. Jesleen and Jovita, I have mentioned that they are regularly opening the cameras. Sabiha is not following any instructions. Sabiha is not even answering in the class. She is not opening the cameras. So please, Sabiha, be responsive in the class. Otherwise, you'll face difficulties. You'll not be able to understand things in the class. All these things are related. Fine. So this is the cross product. Now, there is n cap written. N cap means you have A cross B. So this becomes magnitude of A, magnitude of B, and we have sine theta n cap. Because when we are talking about the cross product, okay, in between, if the network is poor, then fine, Zena. But in between, then it should be, right? So that at least it comes in the knowledge, right? It is in the knowledge of us that you are following the instructions. So see this n cap. See what I was discussing with you, that cross product is all about the vector product. Like your final answer would be a vector itself, right? So n cap basically, this is just additional quantity which we actually do not use in our regular calculations. This, do not write down anything. This gives us the direction. This just helps and gives us the direction between these two vectors which are present. Fine. Now, right hand thumb rule is present, but we don't have to use our right hand thumb rule. Why? Because whenever you will get a question, depending upon that topic, we will be directly studying about this, right? We'll be studying about individual quantities wherever direction is required. All right, so you don't need to remember everything by this right hand thumb rule. Why? Because the answers can be wrong. It can be variable for other quantities also. So it's better if you remember right hand thumb rule is existing, n cap is giving the direction of A cross B. That is just for the direction purpose and we do not even use it. All right. Before we move on to the properties, write down this introductory portion. Others have also completed. Okay, let's come to the properties then of cross product.
1 second.
Write it.
Done, ma'am.
Now see, when we are talking about the properties of cross product, see, we have the properties of dot product also that we have studied, right? Properties of dot product we have already studied. Some properties are similar here. Some properties are a little different for you to understand. Rest of it are, these are very similar of what you've studied. Firstly, result will be a vector quantity. If two quantities are taken which are forming the dot product, like I'll give you an example, R. This is radius vector. Then we have force. Force is also a vector quantity. Now, do not write down anything, class, please. So we have a quantity which is called torque. Torque is present in the rotational motion chapters. So this is also a vector quantity. So this is basically rotational analog of force that we'll be doing it in the chapter rotation only. So if you have radius vector, you have the force vector and you multiply them. So R cross F, this gives you the torque. That is a vector. So it means vector getting multiplied to a vector will give you vector. Now it is anti-commutative. Means if you have A cross B, it is not equal to B cross A. Means if I am writing R cross B, R cross F is giving me torque. F cross R will not give me torque. All right. Whereas in dot product, we had seen that it was commutative. Means A dot B was equal to B dot A. The way in multiplication we follow. 3 into 2 is equal to 2 into 3. 5 into 10 is equal to 10 into 5. Right? 9 into 8 is equal to 8 into 9. All these are commutative. Anti-commutative means you cannot change. Like subtraction is anti-commutative. We know 5 minus 3 and 3 minus 5 both are not the same. So whenever we are subtracting, we have to keep this in mind. So similarly, cross product also it is anti-commutative. A cross B is not equal to B cross A. Then comes the concept of the parallel vectors. Parallel vectors in the dot product we had seen. I dot I, J dot J, K dot K means I cap dot I cap, J cap dot J cap, K cap dot K cap. All these are equal to 1. Fine. But here, when we are talking about the parallel vectors in the cross product, I cross I, J cross J, K cross K, all these are equal to 0. Simply 0. All right, so be careful whether you're talking about the dot product or cross product, it just changes your answer. It's 0 or it's 1. Now, for the perpendicular vectors, this has a little detail which you should be able to understand. All right, what is this detail? Detail is this, you have to remember which two cross products are giving the third quantity how. So best trick, on the corner of your sheet, just write I cap, J cap, K cap before every numerical whenever you face a question from the cross product. All right, just write I cap, J cap, K cap. Then I will be multiplied to J cap. Let's go in this manner. I getting multiplied to J cap. So this is clockwise for whichever vectors are involved. The third universal unit vector will become the perpendicular one. All right. I cap cross J cap. Now I is involved, J is involved. So which one is left? K cap is involved. K cap is left, right? So we'll write K cap. I cross J or J cross I, we know that the third vector is K cap left. So we'll write K cap. If it is J cap cross K cap or K cap cross J cap, which vector is now left? I cap. So it will be I cap in any ways. Likewise, when we are going from K cap to I cap or I cap to K cap, which vector is now left after these two getting involved? It's the J cap. Now what is happening? Plus and minus. See, this is fine till here. I cross J, K, J cross I is giving you K. All these which I have discussed. What about these plus minus? See, if you are moving clockwise this circle, then put a positive sign. So this table. If you are going anti-clockwise means J cross I cap cross K cap, K cap cross J cap, like this. Fine. This is very important, very helpful class. We'll see questions from this. First, write down this. Done, class?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Fine. See, let us now see how do we actually solve a question. If you have a question written in the Cartesian form, then how do we solve it? All right, I cap, j cap, k cap. Now what we do whenever we have the dot product, solving dot product is very easy. Solving of dot product is very easy. We just multiply the coefficients directly, right? 3, if this was a question of dot product, I would have multiplied 3 into 1 plus 2 into 3 plus 1 into 1, 1 into 0, right? Now here what we have to do in cross product, we cannot directly multiply them. So what we have to do, we will be taking their coefficients. We will be writing their coefficients. R cap is our first vector, write its coefficient. I cap, what is the coefficient given? 3. So write. J cap, what is the coefficient given? 2. So write 2. What is the coefficient given in K cap? 1. Nothing is mentioned means it's 1. If the entire universal vector is not present, then we say it's 0. But here this is 1. So plus 1. Come to the second vector, I cap. What is the coefficient of I cap? It is 1. Right? So it is 1. Secondly, this is second J cap. Right? J cap is the vector whose coefficient is what? This is 0. Fine. There is no J cap present. If no J cap is present, it means directly we have the vector as 0. And lastly, we have K cap, which is 3 here. So if no J cap is present, see, if no J cap was present, we have written it as 0. If only K cap is present, we write the coefficient as 1. All right. So this is how we have to write. Now, how do we solve the questions? See, for R cross F, firstly, we will write the vectors of I cap. Now, how do we solve it? When you are solving I cap, please remember the procedure carefully because when you will be solving it, it will be very confusing for you. So please have patience and understand this. When we are talking about I cap, delete its entire row and its entire column. Row and column have been deleted. Now we are left with these 4. Right? I cap we are writing. So we have deleted I caps, row and column. Now go vertically down, multiply them, minus vertically up. So if I go vertically down and multiply, that is 2 into 3 minus 0 into 1. This is the entire I cap. This is how you have to write the I cap. Fine. If you are not able to remember, if you're not able to understand anything, you can write the steps in your language in the corner of the notebooks. Why should you subtract? See, this is a Cartesian form where you put the entire Cartesian form, the unit vectors into the matrix. And when we talk about the matrix system, you have to multiply because there's a full lengthy derivation where we have the I cap plus J cap plus K cap, and here with K cap we have a constant C attached. So because of this constant, there's a negative sign attached to J cap, or the units or the contents of the J caps are J cap is reversed. That's why when we are taking the entire matrix form, if we go vertically down and then we go vertically up, we have to subtract. Otherwise, you have to change every variable's number and sign. So it's better directly just write it 2 into 3 minus 0 into 1. And more than understanding and calculating why is it done, why is it subtracted, why do we use I cap first or something like this, just learn it like a formula. Because in your class 11, nobody is going to ask you, because this entire derivation of this matrix form is not in your syllabus. So nobody is even going to ask you, right? So it's better if you remember it like a formula. So vertically down minus vertically up. Now comes the concept of JCap. When we are talking about JCap, we'll delete its row and its column. So we are left with 3 into 3 and 1 into 1. So again, what we'll do? Vertically down minus vertically up. Now remember, I have just told you that there's a constant attached to the JCap. So there will be some change. So it's better if you write it as minus JCap. Fine, minus JCap, not plus JCap. Then go vertically down. This is 3 into 3 minus vertically up 1 into 1. This is how you have to move. 3 into 3, 1 into 1. Vertically down minus vertically up. Just you have to remember in the JCap case that you have to subtract it. Let's come to the KCap. We delete its entire row and column and we are left with these 4. So vertically down minus vertically up. Now for KCap, you don't have to write minus sign. You can write plus sign. So it is 3 into 0 minus 1 into 2 K. That's your answer. Should it be minus if it's 0? Where?
Ma'am, like the J cap is 0, right? So it should be minus only if the constant is 0.
Here.
No, ma'am, J cap.
For minus for the KCap part. Zena?
Yes, ma'am.
No. Even if 0, so what? This part will be 0. No? This won't be 0. This would be minus 2. Right, that 0 will not affect your answer. Fine, that 0 will not, because we have already considered the 0 when we are solving it. Right.
No,
So
ma'am,
when you're
like
solving it, that 0 is already being included. So you don't have to double it. Now you just have to solve the way you are solving your mathematical questions. 3 into 2 is 6. This is 0. So this becomes 6 I cap. This is 9 minus 1. That is 8. So minus 8 J cap. 0 minus 2. So minus 2 K. That's it. Now, once you have the vector, entire vector, if you have, so you can calculate its magnitude, unit vector, form the unit vector, calculate projection, anything you can do now. But this step is the most important step. Write it down first. Wherever you're not able to understand, please get it clarified, because the next question you all will be asked. Write it. If a variable is not present along with its constant, then it will be zero. Yes, the way we have written zero for the j cap. see now the geometrical meaning of cross product. So geometrical meaning of cross product basically means that you have two vectors which are present and they are representing you the adjacent sides of parallelogram. We have talked about the parallelogram law also, right? So when we are talking about the area of the parallelogram, that is A cross B. So what exactly is the area of a parallelogram? Entire area of parallelogram. This is like a rhombus. So A into B is the area of the parallelogram. But when you want to find out the half of it, so you will just write A into B divided by 2. This is actually the geometrical meaning of the cross product. Whenever sometimes you will see a question where you will be asked if A and B are the two vectors representing the adjacent side of parallelogram. Even if this line is not mentioned, you will directly see it from the diagram that yes, they are representing the adjacent sides of parallelogram, right? The cross products geometrical form will be given by the area of the triangle or area of the parallelogram, but the best is area of the triangle. This is just a geometrical meaning which we write. Now class, write down this, but tell me this question. First write it down. See class, when you are solving this question, unit vector perpendicular to both A and B means you have to find out the cross product. So first vector is A, it is I cap plus J cap minus 2 K cap. And vector B is I cap minus J cap minus 3 K cap. Now we'll be writing I cap, J cap, K cap. Wait. I cap, J cap, K cap. So what all things we have? This is 1. Here we have 1. Here we have minus 2. Here we have 1. Here we have minus 1. Here we have minus 3. Okay, very good. Zainab has answered also. Now, when we are talking about the I cap, this will be cut, this will be cut. We'll be left with these 4 and it will be vertically down minus vertically up. So it is 1 into minus 3 minus 1 into minus 2 I cap minus J cap. Now, what about the J cap? This will be eliminated. So this minus this. Fine. So this will be 1 into minus 3 minus 1 into minus 2. Now let's talk about K cap. This got cut. This got cut. We are left with this. So vertically down minus vertically up. So we have plus K cap 1 into minus 1 minus 1 into 1. So we are left with this is minus 3 minus 2 into minus 1 is 2. So minus 2 I cap minus 3 minus 2 J cap, right? Minus 3. No, this is also minus. So this is minus 3, right? And this is 1 into minus 2 is minus 2. Minus 2 minus 2 became plus 2. And this was minus 3. So 2 minus 3 is minus 1. But minus 1 multiplied to J cap became plus J cap. And this is minus 1. This is minus 1. K cap. So final answer is minus 5 I cap plus J cap minus 2 K cap. J cap plus 2 K cap. 5 will also come. No? Minus 3 minus 1 into minus 2 is plus 2. Plus 2 into minus 2 is minus 2. So minus 3 minus 2 will be minus 5. Fine. Second part says that area of parallelogram. So whatever you have calculated divided by, just multiply both of them normally. Write down this. This was more important to discuss. Write it quickly.
Done, ma'am.
See class, now the next chapter, basically we were talking about the third chapter, but we were studying one particular topic, that was the vectors. Now we are starting with angular projection. Horizontal projection we'll do after this. Why? Because angular projection is difficult. If you are very well good with angular projection, then you will be able to handle horizontal projection quickly. How to do the second part, you could not find it. Wait, Zainab, let me tell you. You just have to multiply it. See, wait. A cross B you have calculated, right? That 5 I cap, this term is all the A cross B. Now you have to take out the magnitude for the parallelogram. Area of the parallelogram is mentioned. See, magnitude of A cross B. So whatever you have calculated right now, just calculate its magnitude. And if the area of the triangle is asked, then just divide the magnitude by 2. So you know, Zainab, how to calculate the magnitude, right?
Yes,
5
ma'am.
under root minus 5 whole square plus 1 whole square plus minus 2 whole square. That will give you one definite answer, which will be the area of the parallelogram. Is it clear, Zainab?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, yes, I was saying horizontal we'll do afterwards. First, we'll get ourselves clear with the angular projection. If we are thorough with the angular projection, we'll be able to manage everything very easily in the horizontal projection. Because if you are able to do something with a difficult angle involving trigonometry, the simple algebraic part is easy. Now, one thing you have to remember before we start with anything, a projectile motion is what, all the conditions and everything I'll tell you. But before that, just one thing. This kind of motion is usually called projectile. But there are certain conditions which we associate with the projectile motion. It's not just the movement of a ball or just this shape. If those necessary conditions are fulfilled, then we say that the particular body has, I'll show you that, wait. This is it. These are the conditions. Like along x-axis, there has to be no change in the velocity and all this I'll show you. But first, let us talk about this. There is always this initial velocity now directed in this direction. Earlier, we used to have our initial velocity directed like this, or the initial velocity was directed like this. Now the initial velocity is directed like this and the angle is made with the x-axis. So this becomes u cos theta and the perpendicular one becomes u sine theta. Why am I telling you? Because this is ux and this is uy and these two terms will be used of. Write down this. Text me done once written. And please name the chapter as motion in motion of a projectile.
Mom, is this a new chapter?
Zainab, you're asking something?
Mom, is this a new chapter?
Yes, actually, vectors is a chapter which is used like algebra, right? This is a proper chapter. Chapter 3 of your NCERT is projectile motion itself. So now we'll be using vectors, dot products, cross product, resolution, whatever you've studied, this will be coming